Yeah, he must be arrested and taken before a magistrate. That is how we are going to operate. We are not going to accept this kind of behavior where, you know, as leaders, we are humble enough to take advice. We talk, religious leaders have come to talk to us, bishops, leaders of various churches in Kenya, governors, so many governors actually have come to talk to us on this issue of education and posting of principals. And actually, many of them, very reasonable people, they come and say, oh, Mr. Minister, what about this? Then I say, okay, no, let us ask our sister Nancy how they are thinking, whether we can change this, and Mary is here. We discuss the matter and agree. Why can't we have a discussion if you have a concern? I mean, we are your servants, we're public servants. Why can't you walk up to us, walk to the county commissioner, walk to the regional commissioner and say, I am here, sir, I'm here, madam, kuna hii shida, mimi nafikiria tufanye namna hii, namna hii.
Right, another bit of a challenge there. We apologize for the signal challenge there, but of course the CA has taken time to talk about various incidents of unrest that have been taking place across the country. Let's go back even as he continues to address county commanders and county education directors.
So-called freedoms too far. Those are not freedoms. What part of the law allows you to frog-march public servants? Huh? So this message has got to go. We are not going to change the situation. And if anything, actually, Mary is here, we want us to move ahead with the delocalization policy, where we have not done the transfers to NLA. More transfers, more delocalization. Let's carry on. That's how the country is going to be integrated. At independence, if we were to be very honest with one another, at independence, one of the goals of our education was to help us achieve national integration, isn't it? Now, your guess is as good as mine, whether we actually have achieved national integration, or we have retreated to villages. That's why now, villagers will tell you who should be a vice-chancellor of a university. Say, oh, this is our university, we want our own son, our own boy. If you are a serious, solid academic, you should be hired anywhere in the world. You can even go to Nigeria and become a vice-chancellor, or you can even go to wherever and become a vice-chancellor. So why must your clansmen be the ones to tell us, make him the vice-chancellor? And we have lived it that way, and then education has actually failed to achieve the objectives we intended it to achieve. We brought in this son of the soil nonsense, what have you, people must be our own, and so on and so forth. So what happens is, and let me be frank with you, because I have data, and my colleagues from the Ministry of Education here will tell you the truth. We have now discovered the horror stories when we did the transfers the other day. And that is why you are seeing the things you are seeing. In some schools, where auditing and records were hidden for all the time, 62 million, 42 million, 30 million, money borrowed fraudulently and hidden, spent with these characters who are defending these principles, who want them to remain. They don't want them to remain because they love them. They want them to remain to perpetuate the culture of corruption, which is hurting access to education. So that our children, we're making education expensive. We borrow money, we do all manner of silly things. In the process, we tell the parents to pay that money. And then we lock out, you know, most of our children because not all parents can afford. So that is why we must clean up the road in the education sector. Whatever it is going to take. If we love our country, and I believe we all do, this is the time to take those decisions. Not everything is going to be popular, that we know, and those of you who are administrators, you probably know this better than I do. But look, we are not here to be popular. And actually, I would rather be unpopular and right than be popular and wrong. So the issue is, let us focus on what must be done. County commissioners, I think I have communicated this loud and clear. I had a good chat yesterday with the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Poinet. Our instructions remain. Where there is any effort to disrupt the work of public servants, arrest those people promptly, lock them up, take them before to Pereke kwa magistrate, awasomee sheria, so that they understand the law, how the law is supposed to work. And then we go ahead, because we have a responsibility. If people want to discuss things, we are here. TSC is here. TSC has got county officials in every county. and so on. Where you have a complaint about a principal and so on, go to the TSC county director. Go to the education county director in the county. Go to the county commissioner. Go to the deputy county commissioner and discuss those issues there. All these men and women are wonderful people, trained, experienced, ready to serve their country. They will listen to us. But we cannot take the law into our own hands, and then start doing the kind of things like we saw in Makueni, people removing their shirts, going to fight in a school. What are we teaching our children? And so on. So we will not tolerate that kind of thing at all, and we have to be firm, and we have to act tough. And that goes to a number of other things related in the education sector. I know we are going to discuss details about the curriculum later on, and I will leave that to my colleagues when they make the presentation. But I want to say that please, our colleagues in national administration, pay attention to what is happening now in the schools in terms of school fees. Because now we are going to solely depend on what you are doing. I asked PS Kipsang to avail the circular that outlines the expenditures for schools and the fees. Every county commissioner should have that. Every regional commissioner should have that. Walk into a school boldly, armed with that. Look at the fee schedule. Ask the question, where is the authorization to do the things that are being done in those places? And where you can, please get a hold of the TSC county director. Let the TSC county director take the immediate action in cases where, because TSC has expressed itself very clearly on this issue. They have warned the principals that those who will violate this will face disciplinary action. So county commissioners, your TSC county director is available. Go with them where there are cases of violation. The TSC county directors will take action up front. Because when we talk about free day secondary education, that's what exactly it means. That in day schools, the students are supposed to pay nothing. Now, because of this strange culture which we have lived with, as I said, this criminal thinking, people believe that we should find a way of making money. We should find a way of making them pay something, even if it's creating something, from all those ridiculous things about motivation fees and so on and so forth, to now saying, activity fee or lunch money. Which restaurant will you pay before you eat? Which restaurant will you pay before you eat? Because I was going around schools on Tuesday. How do you ask students lunch money, 10,000 shillings lunch money? They haven't even reported. How do you know they're going to eat food worth 10,000 shillings? How do you determine for them? Yet, when this policy was introduced and the education officials who are here understand, we agreed that parents will meet, Form 1 parents will meet, and decide, because some parents would like to pack lunch for their children. And therefore, they don't have 10,000 shillings to spend. It's upon the parents to meet and decide, do they want to have collective lunch for their children? Do they want to give lunch each individually to their kids? Because they are coming from home and going back home. Now, each one of those children has 22,240 allocated to them. Now, 22,240 is a lot of money, surely, for a commuting student. And we worked out the math. It's enough for all this stuff. So when you add your own things, they create all manner of fictitious names just with the... It is illegal. National administrators who are in this room, get it right from me. It is illegal, period. And the schedule on illegal levies is clearly outlined. We are tired of talking and giving threats and saying, we will discipline you and so on. I'm asking my TSC colleagues who are here and the Jogo colleagues, we have agreed in principle. Let us use some principles as an example. Because when people are fired, then they will understand what we mean. Because we can't keep telling them, we will discipline you. No. Let's forget about that. Let us actually discipline them. Then and this point on this issue, my colleague, pay attention to Form 1 reporting. Mr. Marwa, I am concerned about the Form 1 reporting in coast region in the country. We are concerned, and we all should be concerned about the Form 1 reporting in coast. I have been looking at the figures this morning from yesterday's analysis. Coast is now got the lowest numbers of the students who are reporting in Form 1. And look, some of them are worrying. Kuala High School, for example, which has got a Form 1 capacity of 240 kids, only 55 students are reported. Why? Malindi High School, a capacity of 240, from one student. By last night, only 57 had reported. Where are the others? I know that we have until the end of today, but when you look at those numbers, they worry you. Because in Kwale County, for example, we have a total capacity of Form 1 places of 5,568. But as at last night, only 754 had reported. That is very low. Even if you actually assumed that of the 5,564, 2,000 have gone to other counties and so on, at least we should be seeing 3,000 kids in school. And by the way, the bulk of these schools are not even boarding schools, they are day schools. And these numbers are drawn from the numbers we saw at KCPE. And someone should not say, oh, I don't have money. For what in a day school? 222,240 is in the school for that child. Yesterday, the directors, I don't know if Mutisha is here with us. Yes, Mutisha is there. Yesterday, the directors who were in these schools, like in Kwale, found that the books are already there. Because we supplied the books for every child based on the capacity that we anticipated. So, if only 57 students have reported, there are books for another almost 190 students that are lying there, textbooks, who have not reported. So, Kike, we took on a gazi. We have a job. So, Mr. Maro, I would like to request you to activate the as chiefs, assistant chiefs across the board. Let's get these kids to school and keep making this message. We can politicize as many things as we want to. Education is the only equalizer. We cannot address marginalization. I had a conversation with some governors from Coast Province this morning, and I'm going to have another conversation with the remaining governors, because I want to call all of them. I want them to be involved as county government. And the governors did not have the figures, the ones I spoke to in the morning. I was actually telling the governor of Kwale, for example, these figures, and saying we can't have this. And he said even we as county government have put aside some money to support any of our children who may want to go to boarding schools and they need someone to pay their boarding fees. There's no shortage of resources to support our children. I spoke to the principal of Butere Girls this morning. The girl who walked to school yesterday, since the information went public, because the peers and I had decided we want to help her through the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation, already she has received more support than she probably would ever need. Because Kenyans have already said we are ready to support, we are ready to pay fees and so on. That's how we are as Kenyans. So no one, and I was very happy with the principal. I mean, I told her I was really proud of her. I mean, she took in the girl, she only had 200 bob. The girl went in, she has been settled down, she's going to school. And because she already had 22,240 paid for her in the school. So what we are all looking for, or what we were supposed to look for, is upkeep, to keep the girl in school. Let people not keep children at home. And my county regional commissioner, county commissioners in Coast, please, do barazas and everything else, and PS, I am willing to suggest that we can open up the reporting date for Coast Province by another 1 week, until Friday next week, to be sure that we get the children to school. Kike and your team, move around. Let's make sure that we get these kids to school. It's very important that we get our children to school. We are not going to talk about marginalization and discrimination forever. We must attack it now by educating our children and tell our parents, let's not keep children in school. I'm satisfied with the numbers I'm seeing in the rest of the country, which are very impressive. And you know, I've looked at the counties that are registering already 98%. You know, day 3, 76%, and so on, which means the response is good. But I am concerned about cost. I've given you examples of the figures, and let us ensure that this is done. And again, my brothers and sisters, this is where the national government administration comes in. This is where we should move in. County commissioners in Coast and regional commissioner. If need be, the PS and I will probably join you at some point next week. Let's work on this and make sure that we get the children to school, whatever it takes, as it were. Lastly, I want to mention about 2 points before I leave. For the national government officials who are in the room, I know we are going to have our own meeting later, and we'll have our own meeting to go into details about our schedule of work as we go along. But I need to bring this to attention. There are things that we need to work on that are urgent. One of those is the illegal gambling machines in the villages. You know, because we all went into campaigns and campaign mode, and then Christmas came and so on, we may actually have relaxed and dropped the guard on some of these things. I have seen in the fight on this issue. That order still stands, and I am backing it up today by telling you, and actually we even have 2 court decisions that back our decision on this matter, that this resurgence of illegal gambling machines in rural and urban areas is illegal. It is not allowed. So I expect that after this meeting, the regional commissioners who are here, you will work with your county commissioners, who will in turn instruct the deputy county commissioners and chiefs and so on to arrest all those people who are operating these illegal gambling machines. This thing is affecting our children and affecting even adults. And I would like to know, as you arrest these people, some of the people operating these machines are foreigners. They're not even Kenyans. What is their status in the country? Lakini sasa tumekuwa namna gani sasa? Watu wanatoka sijui wapi. We are a country where everyone comes here and operates things even in our villages, and we don't know who they are. Tunataka tuwashike and we deport them to go back to wherever they came from, because they did not come here to run gambling machines and affect our children. And these are illegal. We will not accept them. In some villages in the country, you can see they are affecting even education participation, and our children are getting sucked into this and they're not going ahead. The next issue is the issue of illicit brews. And again, the regional commissioners, you are aware of the communication by PS Kibicho and all of us on this matter. I would like to start, and actually we want to be a little more drastic this time on some of these issues. We want to be more drastic. This issue of illegal brews, we can't, as a country that wants to go forward, keep talking about this over and over again. We have national administration structures across the board and so on. I would like, for example, some chiefs and assistant chiefs to take responsibility where this is happening, so that we can get chiefs who can work, who can do the work that we want done, and deputy county commissioners. We will not accept, please understand this. Sasa kazi imeanza, okay, if we relax because of elections and Christmas, it's over. Christmas is gone. Now it's the new year. Let us now start work. And please insist on barazas and task your teams to ensure that we sort this out. We will not accept a resurgence of this illegal and illicit brews across the country as it were. And we will now begin having regional meetings. That is where I want to end. We will issue a schedule shortly. We will have meetings. I would like to have meetings in every region of the country. We want to have meetings and engage with the public on the issues that we are dealing with. And we want reports on this when we come to the regions. Where we receive reports on illegal gambling machines, we will take you on directly, because it means there is failure that we have to address. Where we receive reports on the resurgence of these illegal brews, we will again also take you on this matter. Let us stamp this out. We will not accept it, and we are not going to forward on this matter. Lastly, I think we are going to have a fresh campaign spearheaded by PS Kibicho and the senior team from Arambe, and we are going to start looking at this issue of illicit brews across the country. We are concerned about the consumption of drugs in young people. Let me say something which probably is one of the boldest things I would like to say. Unless we are serious and careful as a people, we will soon lose part of the order and organization in our country to crooks and then people who manage things that are illegal. Whether it's illegal brews, whether it is gambling machines, and secondly also whether it is money laundering and drug trafficking. Let us not fear. Some of the people who may be involved in this may be people who occupy political positions let us take the decision that supports the lives of our children. Kwa hii tafadhali tukae ngumu. And with the changes that have happened in the National Police Service and the way the delivery of services is going to be done by the police, we promise the country that we are going to have to be firm on this issue. Because this thing is affecting us, and I can tell you for a fact, Mr. Marwa at times will tell us that part of the challenges we are seeing in the Form 1 reporting in coast is related to that. So for how long? That's the question. For how long are we going to live like this? For how long are we going to lose order to criminals? Apana, we have to be very serious on this issue. Whoever they are, let us move, go after them without mercy, and make sure that we take them through the process of the law. Arrest them, take them to court, so they can face the full force of the law, as it were. Lastly, because we are here in the joint meeting with the Minister of Education, you know, by the way, I wanted to remind my colleagues in education that we have an enactment, we have a law in place that Parliament enacted in 2016 on the color of school buses, which we have been playing games about. So 30th of March is the last day any school bus will have another color other than the one prescribed by the law. They all have to be yellow as prescribed by the law. And for the national administration colleagues who are here, the movement of school buses is 6 to 6. Work with your police teams to ensure that is enforced. At another time when we are going to meet with the police, we are going to issue out our new plan on how we are going to manage the traffic police. And you will see that we have given it some thought, and we are sure it will elicit the changes we desire as we go along. But for now, let us concentrate on this school buses business and ensure that all the school buses are painted yellow as prescribed by the law by 30th of March. And the county commissioners in the room and the county directors of education, this message has got to go loud and clear to everybody. We will not accept excuses on this issue because we are already too late since the law was enacted. And as I said, the movement of school buses must be restricted as provided for by the law between 6 and 6. So because county directors are here, you have planned this effectively and you worked on this very effectively with county directors of education, quality assurance officers, because we are checking this business of radicalization and movement. Anybody who goes to schools, these people, some people are loitering around schools saying they are motivational speakers and those types of people. They must be approved by the Ministry of Education officials. They must be approved by Ministry of Education officials. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry walks into a school to talk to our children. That's how we are dealing with some of the challenges related to radicalization. County commissioners and regional commissioners, we should keep tabs on this. The law is abundantly clear. You have to get approvals. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry turns up. And then religious leaders in the country, even religious activities in schools, we work with established religious organizations so that, you know, they tell us, I can go to Cardinal Njue and he can tell us this is the priest, and they have structures all the way to the ground. The Catholic Church will tell us this is the right guy who can come and do mass in the school. But you see, you know, the proliferation of, you know, or entrepreneurial religion, we are living in that era now. So I saw a church, I was telling people the other day, I saw a church in some part of the country called Polopiaj. Polopiaj means heaven quickly, something like that. Who knows the leaders? I don't know who the leaders of that church. So when someone turns up in a school and says, I have come from the church of heaven very fast. So, I mean, what is that? No, let's be serious about our country. God has given us children, we look after them, and let's be serious about it. We work with established faith-based organizations, the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, the local imams, they will tell you this is the right person who can come and have worship. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry walks in and says, "Why I'm here, I want to pray with the kids," or "I'm here, I want to be a motivational speaker." So do you know what he wants to motivate them to do in the process? Let's do our best, and we can assure you of our consistent support. The national government administration officials who are here, we are going to have another meeting of our own to look at some of the things we need to address. For example, how we support structures, the requests you made to the President on supporting the structures on the ground. We need to report to you on what we are doing and the other things that we are doing that are specific to us as we go along. But I think we are on to good stuff. Let's do the best we can to move forward, and let's act objectively, decisively, but firmly in defense of good order in our country and in defense of better management of our country. When we begin implementing what my colleagues have talked about, you will see the results for yourself. We will deal with corruption, we will deal with wastage, and we will be able to implement more projects better, faster, in a coordinated way. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. I think once again we would want to more sincerely thank the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Acting Cabinet Secretary for Education for having invited his colleagues as directed. From here, I think I'll call on